Yo, what up?
Okay.
Sup?
Is happening.
Sup, dude?
Hmm.
Yes? Are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Well, I was just watching the open of the market.
Ah,
This is kind of what I expected to happen, as at the end of last week, everyone had conceded, oh, yeah, we're definitely bullish now going into this week. So I figured we would open Monday soft. And that's what's happening.
what are we at right now? I'm still in
It's
pre-market
like under-
terms.
Yeah, it's down 0.5%. It's nothing crazy.
Oh, down. Mine still says up. It's lying to me.
Yeah, I think we'll pull back to 3,900 here, maybe a little underneath, and then reverse into an unchanged day, or maybe even a little green by the end of the day. And then overnight, we will find new buyers again and start to go up. If we go down or stay red overnight, I do expect to find buyers tomorrow on turnaround Tuesday. So it could be a good buying opportunity. I'll be watching.
Is that Taco Tuesday anymore? Turnaround Tuesday?
There you exactly. Turnaround. Well, turnaround Tuesday has been an old adage in the market for a while. The crypto market has been very quiet, very, very quiet all weekend. Both Bitcoin and ETH ran up into their last ditch resistance. That would be 1280 on ETH. And I forget what it was on Bitcoin, but they were sold just as fast as they hit. There was this like capitulation pop into 1280, and then big sellers immediately came in, and it put us right back to where we were. That would be that. What I think what you have to understand is that if it gets above 1280, the squeeze is going to be pretty violent. Bears know this, and that is why they're putting so much effort into making sure we don't get above that. So I would expect them to today and tomorrow try to put in their best shot of showing, once again, you dumb bulls got caught in a bull trap last week and we're going down. The end of the month buying is likely going to happen Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That would be that's why I expected at the end of last week for us to kind of have a soft Monday, Tuesday. It also sets up those rises. Remember, you need bears. Once bears completely cover, you don't have those short-term buyers anymore, right? Like the larger buyers are practically timed. They all tend to come in towards the end of the dip. They always say early day is for amateurs for buying, right? And that's not a blanket rule. But you'll see that most big purchases come in after 3 p.m. in the stock market, because the big buyers tend to buy towards the end of the day when they think they've seen they don't need, they want to have most of the information there before they make their buys. So the big, I would say almost $250 billion. There's about $50 billion of forced buys and $150 billion of optional buys. So they could buy up to $150 billion. I do posit they will spend all of it, only because stocks are down so much. I mean, there's a lot of stocks right now.
Yeah, I've heard you're supposed to buy low, low, sell high. Is that how it works?
And you'll see all the big banks, the ones that are going to be buying at the end of the week, they're all telling you things are going to get worse, the recession, blah, 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 while they are buying. Now, that's not to say things won't get worse, but here's what I'll tell you. There are certain stocks and sectors that will not make new lows, even if the market makes new lows. That would be high beta technology, the most hated names on Wall Street right now, the Squares, the Teslas, the Coinbase, the things that were darlings early last year are now the perennial whipping boys this year. And those aren't
how quickly they turn.
Yeah, those are not going to make new lows, even if S&P or NASDAQ makes new lows in the fall. And I'm not 100% sure they will. But let's say they do. I think you still right here, you're buying biotech. I think you're buying high beta NASDAQ plays. And I'm actually starting to get interested in the banks again, too. After all, where do banks make their money? On interest rates. And all interest rates have done this year is go up. Now, there are short-term reasons. As you know, everyone always goes, oh, inflation is high, gold should be up. Inflation is high, Bitcoin could be up. If you look historically, those assets that tend to be hedges against inflation aren't hedges in the moment.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's what people don't get.
I love when all of this shit is going down, like stock market down, interest rates up, inflation way, way up, and everyone's like, Bitcoin's down. See, I told you. It's, you know, the bears and the haters and all of that stuff, right? We're like, well, okay, let's zoom out a little bit, because if we're, you know, doing even 2 years, Bitcoin's still up 5x, which definitely has outpaced inflation.
But had you put all of your money in Bitcoin in 2013, you'd be beating inflation this year, whether it was
by a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So
in the moment, though, everyone's like, see, supposed to be a hedge against the stock market, supposed to be a hedge against inflation. What's going on now? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Put it in now and tell me where you are in 10 years.
Well,
you will beat inflation.
Gold is the legendary classic inflation head. It's not up much this year. If it's up at all, I don't follow gold closely enough to tell you exactly where it. Gold's been between 1,700 and 2K for like 4 years now. You'd think it'd be breaking heavy to the upside. And inflation adjusted, gold didn't even make a new all-time high. Gold was higher in the 80s when it only hit about $800 an ounce. But if you adjust for inflation, that's about $2,400 today. Gold's not even near there right now. So this is
Ooh, let's do something. The first time we've ever done this on the show. Let's pull up a gold chart.
Yeah, pull it up. And I mean, I have some historic gold charts that are really interesting as well that I could send to R2. And you can see what gold has done over time. Can't get these free online. These are the ones you have to pay for. But this is where economists do very long-term real studies on things like gold and silver to see.
I mean, if you had bought the bottoms around like in the last 5 years, you'd be up pretty good, but nowhere near what you'd be up on any kind of any reasonable kind of crypto, or even a lot of the growth tech stocks. Like, you know, it's not performing. You know, it was at 1,800. 2011. Yeah, there you go.
So I just sent R2 an all-time chart on gold. I hope it's big enough to bring up. And
I'll see what happens.
Now, I also put out stats earlier today, which is another reason that I've been bullish and I've been talking about. The stock market has been down this much 6 times in our history, including this year, which is more than 10% through the first 6 months of the year. That's quite rare. It has happened 6 other times. It had happened 5 other times, so 6 in total, including this year. Those other 5 times, the market was up 100% of the time through the rest of the year. Not 90%, not 50, 100% of the time, the market was up through the rest of the year with an average return of 18.44%.
I'm gonna say this though. I know what you're talking about. Up from the bottom.
Yes.
Not up from the beginning of the year.
No.
Right. Okay.
So 1932, 1939, 1940, 1962, and 1970 are the 5 other times the market has been down more than 10% through the first 6 months of the year. And that average return going forward is 18.5%, which off of our lows puts us between 4,300 and 4,400 on the S&P, right. Which is my target through the end of the summer. I do think we're going to get to about 4,400 on the S&Ps and then probably pull back in the fall. Now, do we make new lows? I know all the bears are 100% convinced and all that. I'm not. maybe 4,100 is huge. In fact, this current rally we're in, I expect it to stop around 4,100 for at least a week. Whether it's sideways action, a big pullback there, however you want to define it or look at it, I do expect that to happen because 4,100 is a very big area for the S&P. I think later in July, we will break above it, and into August, we will tag that 4,400, and then we will see. I think there is still a 20% chance, believe it or not, we make new all-time highs this year. It's not a huge chance. I mean, I would not bet the farm that this would happen. But right now, there is 0% of market participants who think we're making new all-time highs this year. Zero. There is nobody who believes that that could happen.
So are you saying you're just a rounding error?
How could it happen? Well, what have we observed? Okay, we've observed it. Why did the market make new lows? 8.6% print, which is now the famous number in all of global financial markets, made new lows. The Fed responded as aggressively as it has since 1994 with a 75 BIP raise. We are hearing it's going to be the persistent worst inflation we've seen. The Fed is forcing us into a recession. We have war. We have China. We have all these things which are, you couldn't come up with worse scenarios. But if you look at the other side of it, there is a chance that, and we know, inflation peaked back in May. So it's been going down for almost 2 months now. Let's see where those next print, let's see how much it's gone down. That's number one.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, keep going. I didn't
Number two, we still have an extremely tight labor market. No one is saying that if the Fed didn't continue to aggressively raise rates, inflation didn't go down, and they were forced to even continue into next year, no one's saying they wouldn't cause a recession event. Of course, the Fed can cause a recession if they keep going, right? But what if we start getting softer numbers and all of a sudden they have to change their language and say, well, wow, it seems inflation is really, really coming off, okay? You have bond yields starting to go down. This is the first time this year they're actually starting to go down, all right? What if the war in Ukraine starts to relax? After all, Putin has just defaulted on Russia's loans for the first time in 103 years. The Russian economy is faltering. As bad as it is in the rest of the world, it is terrible within the walls of Russia. These things are stuff that people have 100% discounted. Nobody is expecting these things to happen. If these things happen, there's no reason we shouldn't see all-time highs again this year. The market was not inflated unfairly. We have the hottest economy of your lifetime. The only danger was that it was too hot. That was the issue. If we manage to kill inflation before killing the momentum of that economy, we could see quite the snapback into the end of the year. So while I subscribe a very low chance to it, and there's no reason to even bet on that until later. It's not like you're going to go, all right, I think that's going to happen. I'm going all in here, close my eyes, and I come back in December. There's no reason to do that. You'd likely make more money being, tempered, relaxed, waiting for the next peak, the next pullback, blah, 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 being measured. But I do think that we're at least going to be in a bullish scenario right now through August. So I think weakness can be bought here today and tomorrow, over the next month. Bear traps abound.
I always go back to that thing of thinking when you're listening to the VCs and people talk about, they're always selling you kind of the opposite of what they're doing, because they're once that they're screaming that things are already good, you already knew that. Do you know what you say that? How do you normally put that? They're just pumping their bags essentially, or they're accumulating at this time, right?
Yeah, they're always going to tell you the opposite of what.
That's right. That's right. So I listened to some podcasts the All In, Chamath is on there and stuff like that. And Chamath is, regardless of what you think of him with his SPACs and stuff like that, and I totally get it. Like, pretty damn good investor. He's up on that All In podcast right now, saying things like, "This is going to be a multi-year bear. We're, you know, this is just the beginning of the beginning. This is going to be tough." Like things, and you know, I like to believe that podcast is just a couple of, you know, billionaires shooting the shit with each other, which is what they label it as or whatnot. But like, what is he actually doing? He's probably deploying capital left, right, and center, buying right now. And then, you know, things are going to turn the corner and you see, oh, see, this happened, this happened, this happened. Oh, good to go. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's at this point, it's so hard to just take everything at face value. Like, people are just, you know, absolutely telling you the truth. Investors have the impetus to not tell you exactly what they're doing at that time. They'll tell you what they did a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 months ago, or a year ago. I don't know. So I kind of makes me, there's times where like I want to take it as gospel and be like, you know, what he's saying is making sense. But the other way is like, do the opposite of what people are saying, what people are feeling and whatnot. So I don't know. Bullish, maybe. Yeah. I know you are.
Yes.
So let's give a little bit of a recap right now. Let's get into crypto too, because we were talking about markets. But ETH, I'm going to give this a refresh because it's bounced. Yeah. ETH has dipped below $1,200 while we were on the show. Nice little, not nice little, pretty sharp little drop down. Nothing too crazy, but we were sitting at about 1220 when the show started. Bitcoin has broken down below 21,002, probably just a little bit of a reaction to the market being slightly down as well. But we did have some nice little relief rallies over the weekend. Actually up 6% on ETH on the week, despite being down a little bit right now, 1.5% for Bitcoin. And, you know, again, putting a little bit of distance in between those ugly 3-digit numbers and putting a little bit of time in between them, but starting to feel a little bit good. Does that mean that the end is over and like we're going to go up only? Absolutely not. I don't think we are out of the woods yet. And would I expect to see it go into the 3-digit territory again? Maybe. Wouldn't be totally shocked, but I do think that there is a lot of people that are more than willing to buy once it starts going down there. So I think support is going to be incredibly strong for Ethereum in the 3-digit range. And I don't think that you'll see it if we get back down there. I don't think you'll see it last for very long. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what you've been looking at with crypto. Of course, we still do have ETH 2.0 on the horizon. They're obviously going through the beta testing on the Rockstar network. They're going to be doing it on the other ones, working that out. But, you know, I think that's going to be a big moment for ETH, despite the market conditions, at least for a short term.
People are just waiting out systemic risk. That's all.
Yeah.
I think it's just a waiting game. I think ETH is undervalued here, but no one wants to rush out and buy large amounts because they don't know if there's going to be another forced liquidation down to $800.
I wouldn't be pressing the buy 100% market right now.
Right. Yeah. That's the only reason I don't think it levitates back to $1,700. I think given how many years we've put in you know, how much work has been put in the last few years, ETH is probably fairly valued around $1,700, $2,000, somewhere in there. I just think it's depressed right now because of the systemic risk, and nobody wants to run in and buy. That's going to be borne out. I do believe this week or next week we're going to see. I don't think there are many more shoes to drop. Right? I think everyone knows what is out there at this point. I think everyone that's insolvent is known. We just have to see what the repercussions of that is. And that's what we're waiting. Like even this morning, Voyager put out their default. They legally filed with whoever they file with to say that 3AC has defaulted on their debt. So let us see what this means. What is the fallout of this? What happens over the next days or weeks because of this? That is why I think we're stuck at 1,200 and not 800 because I think most people understand we're undervalued down here. So we're just trying to get past the systemic risk, and the only way that can happen is time. I expect the range to be, I maybe would have expected a bigger range over the weekend. That's another thing that I think is bullish. I think people are kind of just waiting for the all clear right now. Though obviously your risk is that another big piece of bad news comes out and it forces us much lower.
Well, good segue to the next article I had pulled up was SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, is putting his money where his mouth is, or FTX's money where his mouth is. Last week we talked about how he was mentioning that he feels almost an obligation to I guess prop up the crypto market or save a lot of these systemic risks from actually going through, which is, I mean, just fancy talk for being like, there's an opportunity for me to buy a lot of shit for very, very cheap in order to prevent people from defaulting and whatnot. But FTX is acquiring BlockFi with a $250 million bailout. So he is going through and making good on his word to keep some of that going. And FTX is going to continue to build out a pretty substantial portfolio, I think, during this time. If something like BlockFi is at risk, obviously one of the bigger ones, and he's willing to kind of catch that hammer from falling, are we feeling pretty good now about where we are, or are there some big players that are still really kind of out of FTX's bailout capacity, like a 3AC?
Yeah, I don't think. I think everyone that's known is known, and bailouts are going to happen. So I wouldn't actually be surprised to see some government start setting in. I think we talked about the Bank of England maybe mentioning some stables and bailouts and stuff like that too for some of these things. Not a bad time for them to start kind of getting into the game or accumulating as well if they feel so inclined, right? And kind of funny for like the UK to start changing their tune in the midst of all of this crash, because you think that they would be more bearish than ever, right?
And now all of a sudden they're like, well, maybe not, So I've been watching all of that kind of take place, and again, like seeing this stuff is it gets me excited too, because you didn't see any of this shit in 2017, 2018, and that's when people say it's different now, it really is. You didn't see any of this last time. It's all going to zero. Fuck it, let it die. It's gone. Good riddance. And here we are.
Here we are.
Conversation. What else we want to talk about? I had some other stuff. Let's talk about the GTA news that you sent me here, and I'm going to combine it with a couple other articles. Let's just quickly read the headlines, then we'll get into the bigger conversation. Sand gains almost 20% in the wake of tech giants Metaverse announcement. The Sandbox's COO said again on Saturday, an acquisition by Meta will never happen. Sand is moving anyways. Microsoft, Meta, trying to acquire stuff like that in attempts to speed up their metaverse kind of dominance. But again, that just means that they're interested. These companies are still, in the wake of crypto being down 65%, still pointing their ships in that direction. They're not backing out. Should be a pretty bullish sign. GTA 6 now. GTA 6 to include a cryptocurrency reward system ? There has been some leaks and some suggestions, some implications that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be kind of built upon a cryptocurrency with their in-game transactions and whatnot. I heard recently that GTA 6 some missions will reward you in Bitcoin instead of cash for completing some missions. The stock market feature will return with the addition of a broker for different cryptocurrencies. If GTA 6 incorporates this, it's huge for crypto. Just so there's no confusion. Oh, shit. I accidentally clicked on it. Just so there's no confusion, I mean in-game payments of Bitcoin. These payments will come from the more higher-up characters that need to transfer high amounts of untraceable cash fast. Interesting rumors surrounding this. We already know Take 6 is bullish on crypto, bullish on NFTs. Grand Theft Auto, while it's still kind of king of the castle in terms of the gaming world, despite the fact that it's been almost 10 years, believe it or not, since GTA 5 has come out, Still one of the biggest selling games of all time. Grand Theft Auto still online, still played daily by hundreds of thousands of people. Rockstar's market dominance, while it has grown with the gaming industry, has shrunk compared to all the other new players entering into this space. And companies like to maintain their market dominance. They like to maintain their attention. They, they want to do big, different things. And it seems like Take-Six is headed that direction. GTA 6 slated for somewhere in 2024. So we've still got a little bit of ways to go before the release of that game. But a lot can change in those times. But I do think in 2 years, a lot of positive can happen for crypto in the wake of what's happened over the past couple of months. And I'm incredibly excited about this. My biggest question, and this is a discussion I wanted to have with you, Free Market, is that, where does this money come from? Like, is this what we talk about with P2E gaming and why we're so bullish on it? Kind of that redistribution of funds. Obviously, people in Grand Theft Auto are willing to pay real money for cosmetic skins, in-game currency, boosts, bonus, all of that stuff, like they will with tons and tons and tons of other games. Is this now Take-Six saying we're going to have to take some of that money and redistribute it as rewards for playing the game? Is that going to work? Does this work in publicly traded companies? Do they have a choice?
Right. I think that there are going to be some companies that do take the risk that this is the new paradigm. You sell it to your board that it's less money up front and more long term. And you're not going to see, I think, the largest companies do that. Is Rockstar independent or part of, Activision or
Rockstar Take-Six, and then I think Microsoft was acquired. Someone was acquiring Take-Six. I think it was Microsoft.
Gotcha.
Or Blizzard. Actually, we talked about this on the show a while ago, but I mean, there's been so many moving parts in this industry. I'm starting to lose sight of it. Let me look that up on a separate screen while you're kind of talking about the dynamics.
No, I think it would be smart and interesting to use one of your smaller subsidiaries that has one of the most popular games in the world to try to push this concept forward. So,
Take-Two. I kept saying Take-Six. Sorry, guys. Take-Two. That's what I'm getting at here. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I think that we're going to have a situation where a smaller company comes up with a hit game on this new paradigm, and it starts to force larger entities like Electronic Arts and Activision to move in that direction, whether they like it or not. There will also be small one-offs, I think, like Grand Theft Auto, who experiment and try to go in that direction anyway. Now, you're not going. I don't think you see the big paradigm shift until what I mentioned, which is a small game becoming very popular and stealing mind share. I mean, that's what's really going to get noticed by these larger companies. And I'm sure we're not thinking of ways that they're going to be able to preserve capital. They'll preserve profits to an extent and probably come up with new revenue streams that work in crypto as well. There are probably mutual beneficial ways to pitch to a board that this novelty alone will increase sales more than the paradigm costs us. Which is why a small company, or not a small, but at least a subsidiary like Rockstar can take that risk. I think it makes sense for them to take that risk, even if it doesn't work, and they can say, "Oops." It's
for sure.
A controlled experiment in a way. I would say this is This is one of those things where does Rockstar have any other games? I mean, this is pretty.
Oh yeah, huge portfolio. No,
they do. Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption, huge. Take-Two also has the 2K series, so NBA 2K and all of that stuff. Like, I know Rockstar is like, the kind of break off studio from that. But I mean, these between Take-Two in total and then Rockstar, like massive gaming
I think there comes a point as a larger company, you probably, when they're in the boardroom, there's no PR going on. They're trying to have honest conversations about the future of business and what the dangers can be and stuff they wouldn't say in public. They're probably having the same conversation we are having right now and are saying to themselves, what we know eventually the customer is going to demand this. So let us quietly put the pieces in place to be ready to move on that without forcing it before it has to happen. There's no reason to give up money before we have to, but let's start putting the pieces in place to make this a less messy transition when necessary, is likely what's happening in these boardrooms. Right.
I wholeheartedly agree with that statement too. And every single one of these gaming companies, including the ones that have said we're never going to do NFTs, they have a Web3 team. Like, they have people working on it, doing exploration, theorizing, strategizing, building towards, reporting on, and they're keeping tabs on everything that's going on. And when something like this happens, a lot of other companies have to kind of follow suit because they're just trying to keep up. You made a good analogy of like something like Tesla, a small little startup electric car company, and now every car company in the world has been forced to create electric vehicles, right? Because they captured mindshare, they captured that attention, and they created the demand for the business that they were working in. I'm just going to add a couple of quick notes to what I was mentioning, or what I was saying before with Take-Two. Take-Two is its own public company. It owns Rockstar. Microsoft was acquiring Blizzard. Activision, apologize for that confusion. And Take-Two acquired Zynga earlier this year, and that's where I was getting some dots kind of crossed up. But
is Rockstar publicly traded?
Take-Two is, yeah.
No, and Take-Two owns Rockstar, you're saying?
Yeah, Rockstar is a game studio of Take-Two.
Gotcha.
So, yes, there. My apologies for the confusion. I'm sure some of you are face palming right now as I was fumbling my way through that. But again, there's so many different gaming studios. Some of them close down, some of them get acquired, and then that main company gets acquired by somebody else, and all these moving parts. Again, big companies are spending money aiming their ships towards this inevitability, and regardless of what the market looks like right now, they don't care. It's bullish as fuck. So, feeling good about that. Have you been following the Yuga kind of clapping back at Ryder Rips? Yugo Labs lawsuit accuses Ryder Rips of scamming consumers with fake Bored Apes. I think that's true. The suit claims that the artist's deliberate effort to devalue the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT is no mere monkey business. As we mentioned on the show, they literally were selling the Bored Ape collection, including all of the traits that they claim to be racist, to their fan bases, making quite a lot of money in the process of it. What a fucking grift this is, regardless of how you feel about the video that they put in. But the lawsuit and the kind of the clapback by Gordon Goner goes into the fact that this is all timing based. NFT NYC was happening. They were doing the Ape Fest stuff, big parties being thrown. All of a sudden, this video comes out the same day. They're selling stuff to their own fan base. They're trying to tear down Bored Apes. I hope that this lawsuit, and they're looking for a public jury on this case. I hope it just gets them to shut the fuck up at this point. I don't know. How are you feeling about all this? You like it? Do you think it's good attention for the NFT space? Do you think that if it gets shut down, it's a positive outcome for everyone? Are you still there?
Sorry, I was muted. I think.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I think. Let me figure out what I.
Well, let me read while you do that. What Gordon Goner posted with the the thread there. As you may have heard, we've become the target of crazy disinformation campaign accusing us, a group of Jewish, Turkish, Pakistani, and Cuban friends of being super secret Nazis, even though the ADL, which exists to protect Jewish people around the world from just this sort of hatred and slander, has confirmed this isn't true. Trolls are still spreading ridiculous conspiracy theories online and using them to sell knockoff NFTs. Surprise. We've responded to much of this bullshit before. Others have also come out and called us out in a detailed way. We've not responded in further detail to these allegations because, frankly, they're insanely far-fetched. That said, we woke up this morning to a podcaster we respect talking about this conspiracy theory, and that was pretty surreal. Made us feel like a good time to come out and put an end of all of this. They put out a letter from the founders, and they're finally going after Ryder Rips. Bored Apes, obviously fundraising earlier this year with a valuation of about $4 billion is definitely going to have to take this stuff seriously going forward. And yeah, hit me.
I guess I've been trying to I don't think I've ever cared about anything less.
That's fair too. I mean, this is something that like I'm glued to the screen.
I think Ryder Rips is an idiot. I think people who bought his collection are idiots.
They got scammed.
But I also don't care. Like I think that he is harnessing something within people that is that is stupid. That he's leveraging your sensitivity to nonsense. I find the whole thing so dumb. The thing that really I even sat for 2 minutes and thought about this. There was an hour film made on this. Now, do you know how much time it takes to put together an hour-long film? Like
I've put together 5-minute videos before, and it takes a long fucking time. Yeah.
I just picture this person editing together an hour's worth of footage about fucking nonsense. But I mean, shit. There's documentaries about Scientology, so I guess I shouldn't be shocked here. But I think the only thing as stupid as the participants in this are the people who care. Like this, like I think Ryder Rips is an idiot. I also don't care enough to tweet about it.
Yeah, fair. I will, just for the sake of the show, just mention that like they did respond to a lot of it. Why does our NFT collection feature apes? There's a long history of people affectionately referring to themselves as apes in crypto, which is why some of the most rarest and most valuable NFTs in the CryptoPunk collection, which dates back to 2017, are the apes. Well, no shit. What was the inspiration for the design of the BAYC logo? We never wanted to take ourselves too seriously, so the look of the club is ramshackle and divey. Everything about the Bored Ape Yacht Club is meant to convey a spirit of reverence and absurdity. It's a yacht club that's actually falling apart and smack dab in the heart of a Everglades. As such, it needed to appear appropriately grimy, intriguing logo. We went with an ape skull to help convey just how bored these apes are. They're bored to death, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the chat too, because I'm just interested in what the sentiment is on this. But I haven't seen too many people other than, well, maybe that's the echo chamber talking. So I got to be careful when I say this. I haven't seen too many people within NFTs buying into this bullshit. And I think, as you mentioned, this is a leverage kind of people's weird irrational emotions, but I also think it's a leverage of anti-NFTs too, right? There's a lot of people that have a hard time explaining or rationalizing in their own mind why NFTs are valuable, and I totally get that. Actually, it's a conversation that I have relatively frequently in real life, and some people, after you explain it to them, go, oh yeah, that makes sense, and some people say, I just still don't see it. Either answer is fine. Neither of it offends me or excites me, right? It's more of just an interesting, detailed conversation, and I'm not here to change anybody's mind about it. But there are people that are angry. That's, last year somebody invested $300 into a Bored Ape, and now it could be potentially worth $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, plus all of the payouts along the way, the Mutant Apes, the Bored Ape Kennel Club, the ApeCoin airdrop. I mean, these this collection in particular, along with handfuls of others, have made people fabulously wealthy off of a very small investment and a belief that the Bored Ape Yacht Club or the CryptoPunks or anything have importance. And people get really angry about that. They're saying, I don't even understand why NFTs have value, and these people made tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars off it. What the fuck is going on in this world?
It's not even the outside people. We talk about there's 1 million unique wallets on OpenSea. At least half of those wallets don't believe in NFTs. And I know because I've been trading with them for the last 6 months in the fucking chat rooms. NFTs are fucking stupid. I'm just doing the, they were just here to flip. Most people don't believe in NFT. In fact, you probably don't believe in any NFT you don't own because they're fucking stupid, right? I mean, this is the whole thing. No one can get their head around it. And the majority of people, even here now, don't believe in NFTs. So
I would disagree. I would say, when we were getting 100 plus viewers live, I would say some of them were, there for. I think we're getting to a point where the people that are left do, for sure. I mean, I'm sure some of them are hanging on, but I think that this is one of the productive things about a market like this is that you do really get to see where the chips all really lay, or who you're talking to when the lights come on at the club, right?
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to just cut you off and counteract you, but I kind of cut you off during the middle of your point.
No,
sorry.
That was it. I didn't have anything else to add.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, free market. We got a notification.
There were no new wallets made, Decoy. We haven't.
What's that?
He said half of those wallets were made last month. Not even close.
Oh, Decoy, yeah.
Not making any new wallets on OpenSea, right? The free mint meta was all money being passed around. How do all the ETH is there on the sideline? Nobody fucking cashed out. It's all sitting there. People are just waiting for even in crypto. Do you know how much stable? Do you know how much stables are just sitting in wallets? If they're bearish on crypto, why don't you just cash that out? Why are you leaving it in stables? There is.
That's a great point.
There is
that is a great point.
Waiting to come back in. It's all this is all.
Or why haven't you bought yet? Yeah.
It's all a farce. I mean, they know too. They want as cheap prices. They're not you. They don't give a shit whether number goes up tomorrow or next week or next year. They're making 5-year plays here with millions. This is nothing.
Yeah. Some more people using bots last month than ever. Yeah, I mean, because they're cheap and abundant now. There was a bots arm race kind of, towards the end of, let's talk about March, April. It went from a niche group of people botting to a lot of people botting to pretty much if you didn't bot, you were at a disadvantage. And it really did flip the minting meta kind of on its head. People were trying to respond with more allow lists, less allow lists. Free mints kind of came of that too. But bots are cheap and or free at this point, and easier to use than ever. And the dynamic has definitely shifted. I would like to see an answer to that, or you just let everybody use bots, and once everyone's using bots, it just becomes who's got the best bots. I don't know.
Yes.
Do you think the bots were bad or good? Do you think it will force a positive change? I kind of think so, honestly. I think it's gonna force smart people to figure it out.
I am not one that believes anything is bad or good. So I believe all things are neutral.
Okay.
And it's just about adjusting yourself to react to these new things. I don't think they're bad or good. Progress is like the weather; it's just there.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a valid point too. That's a valid point too. I guess in light of all of the Rider Rip shit, ApeCoin went up 22% as well with the Eminem and Snoop Dogg video. So not always lost.
So cool.
The video, yeah.
I love how they did that.
Yeah, man. And this is again mainstream mainstream attention. I mean, fucking Eminem and Snoop Dogg everywhere. You're gonna see more of that. Tons more of that.
There were a lot of mainstream comments about, wait, I have to buy an NFT. How do I get it? I want this. What do I do? Like, you know, there was a lot of that going on around this drop. So these type of things are as effective for pushing the narrative of NFTs as are well thought out educational posts and videos that no one's ever going to fucking read. People just want the people they like to be doing something, then they'll do it. Pack animal. One thing you could say, a couple things you could say about humans. Pack animals, stupid. Those are two things that I think you could say about people.
People in general, yeah, not
People
individuals.
In general,
yeah.
Stupid pack animal.
Yep. No, for sure. Whew. All right. I'm just trying to scroll my disaster of a tab bar here and see if I had much else to talk about. I think by and large, after everything was all said and done, NFT NYC felt like a success despite the state of the market. That was pretty good. I think most people left feeling like they had a renewed interest, or at least a renewed bullishness about the NFT space and whatnot. It's encouraging to see too. There were a lot of people ripping on it, but again, there's a lot of people that rip on shit just because it's the cool thing to do. The pack animal mentality, like Free Market just said. It's cool to hate NFTs. Cool.
There's three types of people in the world: people who go to the party, people who don't go to the party and hate on it, and people who don't care about any of them. And no matter what happens, you will always see these three people state their fucking opinions. Right? You're going to have the people who were there tell you how great it is. The people who weren't there and deep down are jealous tell you how stupid it looked. And then the people who think they're above it all tell you how they don't care. You always have these three idiots around any event. You can apply that to any public event. And it's the same three NPC moronic templates that come out of everybody. That's why it's hard to even talk about. You learn on Twitter. It's just people regurgitating the same fucking opinions they heard somewhere else over and over again. The virtue signal to this girl that I'm the superior mate, or to this guy. You know, it's all fucking stupid. Really
pretty primal, really, at the end of it.
It is. Sure. It is. It's hard to, like, you can participate in it for so long, and then it just becomes fucking stupid. So I think that the two, I guess, there are the sycophantic cogs that wish that the conference was more comprehensive because they thought they were actually going to learn something or derive alpha from the actual conference itself, that they spent $600 on the tickets. Then all the people that went there to just drink and meet all the avatars that they met online were like, haha, you idiots paid the money for the tickets. And it's just, you can't get away from the tribal, like, oh, you did this, well, haha, I'm smarter because I did this. It was pervasive all over the weekend. I don't know what NFT NYC did for any. I saw a lot of people who were there be mad bullish, like, oh, NFTs are gonna ramp this week.
I don't think it was ever going to be something that was going to pump the market back into like serious volume, but
it could have if we didn't have the macro backdrop we have. But people aren't not buying NFTs because the marketing is bad. They're not buying NFTs because they think fucking inflation is high. They're wrong, but that's why they're not doing it. So we just need that next CPI number to come out surprisingly soft, catch everybody off guard. But and then people will buy NFTs again. It'll be that moment. Do you remember when we fell to 2,100 and then we rallied back to 3,600 and NFTs went up at the same time and everyone was like, NFTs and ETH can go up at the same time. Well, you know, because we were we were risk off. Everything went risk off, and then everything that's risk goes risk on at the same time. You'll probably see the same thing. ETH will ramp to 2,000. NFTs will go up at the same time. And I think we're just waiting to make sure there's no forced liquidation. No one wants to be liquidated in somebody else's liquidation. So, people are waiting to see how bad the 3AC reverberations are, how much Sam is going to backstop everything. And then we will be up only for a month or two. You could take that to the bank from old Uncle FMC.
I want to direct your attention to the screen right now. Is that your lemon?
Yes.
Nice.
I will admit I've done a lot of cool things in my life, but this is the first time I've been on a Times Square billboard.
How many of those? Because that's Michael's, right?
Michael's is on there too. A lot of the prominent lemons are up there. Yeah.
Okay, so they specifically took lemon community.
They took prominent lemons of the community.
There you go.
Up there. So shout out to Zesty Ziff, and
because that's Cenarius is there, right?
One of the hoodied one is, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, that is Cenarius. Yep. Yeah. This is. I mean, you love to see this. You love to see this. I think that, as we know, there was an American Eagle partnership between the Kawaii brands like Wonder Pals and Little Lemons. And I really, really think the cute meta, which has been left for dead and oversaturated, when the masses show up, whether it's next month, next year, or whenever, these very cheap NFTs that they've seen on clothing and on billboards, those are what they're going to buy. That's why I said I think the biggest thing you could take away from NFT NYC is that the projects that made an effort to be there, I think, are going to do well next cycle. They're installing themselves into NFT canon, right? You're good. There's videos, there's clips, when your average person goes to research NFTs and NFT NYC, the biggest event in our industry, it pops up. They look at it. This is what they're going to see. They're going to see Bored Apes. They're going to see Doodles. They're going to see the smaller Kawaii brands that made a very big impression, like Starcatchers, who I got to say, that new art that Ariel has put out, I like it better than the older. We talked about this too.
What is this? I actually just saw this. Evolved Starcatchers. I
was not confident at all that the project that bringing in a new artist could work. I wasn't going to say it couldn't, which is why I didn't dump my Starcatchers on that pump. I just left them there and all that stuff. I was surprised. I mean, I know how talented Ariel is. It's just to take Butrick's concept and make it better. I think she nailed it. I think she absolutely nailed it. They look great. I think they're more fun.
So, did they just update all of the art?
Yeah. Yep.
These do look good.
Yeah.
I missed that. I apologize.
I actually think they look much better. That's not a call to rush out and buy them here. But I do think the fact that the art is even better now and they have a genuine, legitimate artist running it in Ariel and Ariel Jade, and that they made noise.
She's super active too. People follow her.
Right. I mean, she's not running any smart contract scams. I can promise you that. So this is a good person to have.
No, I'm kidding.
This is a good person to have at the helm, and I really think she took the art to another level. So I'm happy I kept mine. And like I said, I think Wonder Pals, I think Little Lemon Friends, and I think Starcatchers all made the proper amount of noise they needed to at NFT NYC. And I think all three of those projects will do well on the next cycle.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I still have a couple of them.
You know what else I like, R2?
I do. What else do you like?
Bastard Gone Punk.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot.
A lot? Only for 6 months.
No, yeah, but I just mean even in private too.
Yeah. We like
let's pull it up.
Bring them up. Show these people what they're missing.
Full disclosure, been buying these actively lately too. I'm not saying that you should, but price was around 0.2 and I feel fucking good about them. Yeah.
We talk about them all the time. And when they go to 3 ETH, you'll be like, oh, that's what they were talking about. I know the first thing that jumped into your pea brain was punk derivative. FMC's talking about a punk derivative. What is even happening right now? This is not a punk derivative. This is an evolution
History,
of
baby.
art known as CryptoPunks that employed an art block style generative adversarial network to create pieces of art that I say, with the seriousness of a heart attack, I believe will be in MoMA, the Modern Museum of Art, one day in the not so distant future, maybe within a decade. I think some of the glitchies, even the comments are so strikingly gorgeous, so perfect.
Look at this volume in the last couple days too. I mean, this is a project that's over a year old and doesn't have an active development team or anything. These are not left for dead. They were given to the community. There is the DAO and the voting and all of that stuff. But I mean, people are buying, man.
Oh, these are so important as far as NFT history, technology, etc. I truly, truly believe that I've always called them the heir apparent to punks. I think in the not so distant future, we will say that there are 22,000 punks. We won't even say that we obviously they're different collections, but I think they will be considered punk. That is how important these are. And when you think about there's 1 million millionaires in the world and only 22,000 legitimate punks, while these will always maintain a ratio, a smaller ratio than their grandfather, the larger punk.
Yeah, we're never saying these are flipping CryptoPunks.
I don't think they're flipping, nor do I think they'll necessarily be the same price. But I do think that they will get to at least a 1-to-10 ratio with CryptoPunks. That would mean that these would get to 7 ETH or so right now, 7 or 8 ETH. I haven't looked at punks in a day or two.
Yeah, they're around 60, 70, somewhere in between there. Yeah, I love the diversity in this collection. Is just unreal.
And go bring up the highest sales, because you guys need to see the hoodies. Let's just think about, someone put up a comparison between the Begon hoodie.
This one just went for 6 ETH the other day too.
Almost
the highest sale ever in this collection just happened in the middle of all of this.
So
look at this.
Somebody put out a comparison of all the punk hoodies compared to the Begon hoodies. You cannot tell me that if you were somebody who did not know what you're looking at, you wouldn't pick the punk. You wouldn't pick the bastard 9 times out of 10. The bastard hoodies are next, but go organize by hoodie. Click on that one hoodie there and organize by hoodie. Bring them all up. These are some of my favorite NFTs of all time. These Begon hoodies, which you'll never get your head. The one that was sold the other day was negotiated in private. All right. They begged. All right. They begged. There's a lot of partial hoodies.
Yeah. And I was just going to point that out. That is one of the processes of the GON producing these and whatnot. And, you've told me this, but Burke, went through so many iterations of this to try and make it work properly the way it is. Right. So.
And this is the type of collection where you're going to see some that you absolutely love, some you absolutely hate, and some that you just, that right there is nicer than any punk hoodie. That's a hoodie ape. Does that even exist? It may exist in punks. I don't know. I think it does, but it's so plain looking on the CryptoPunks. Oh my God. These are too good, man. So
those backgrounds, that wasn't created by somebody making a background and layering it as a background. That was
right.
Computer.
People talk about generative, right? Yes, your Bored Ape was mix and matched like a child's toy between a bunch of traits. This is a mind-warping, glitch-inducing god. This is art block shit. I wasn't saying that as a comparison. It's literally the generative adversarial network that is employed in art block modified by Burke for this collection. This is, I think that it's a very complicated history, story, and collection itself, which hinders it up until now. Once it is understood, I don't think there's going to be any stopping it. I really don't.
We like the Begans.
We do.
Super bullish on Begans, honestly. And yeah, you know, buy if you like them and you feel like it's an appropriate risk. Don't if you don't like them. I get why some people don't like these, and don't get me wrong. Like I know some people are like, we've even had it on the show. We'll pull it up, and people are like, dude, those are fucking ugly. What are you talking about? I don't think so, but I love these like in your face colors and just like ridiculousness of them. And you know, some of them are glitchy, some of them are super clean. There's so much discovery in this to the point where they have a hard time actually indexing the proper rarities of these. Like there's still people trying to figure out exactly how to do it. There's some words. There's like the words in there that people get kind of like the actual like automated kind of indexing system get kind of hung up on too. Where do you find those there? Details?
What are you looking?
The song words. You know how it has the word count?
It's up there. You're already see it.
Oh, there. This one, right?
Yep. Those are all randomly generated phrases from a bunch of words that he chose. I forget what, I think it was from punk rock music, actually.
Yeah, and they actually had a competition for people to make songs out of them and stuff too.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. All right, my friend. I am gonna have to wrap it up here. I got some stuff to take care of this afternoon.
Gotta be safe. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, yeah. This episode sponsored by Trojan. FMC, did you see Anonymous is manhunting Luna founder Dokwan? Nice.
What did he disappear?
Well, he's not allowed to leave South Korea. So, I mean, that should
think he's hiding.
Don't know.
This always happens when a lot of money is lost, a bunch of internet tough people, blah, 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 blah. I'm so, it's tiring to me. Like,
I would say, yeah, Anon's not someone I'd personally want to fuck with, but
no, not at all. I know those are powerful hackers. I wouldn't mess with them at all. I'm sure they can do some things. I praise be to them. I consider them a force for good in the world, and recognize that our new overlords are not just smart, but also incredibly handsome. Which is, you know, they say God doesn't give it all to one people, but I just sense that the anonymous group, handsome and smart.
All right, D-Gens, we're going to wrap the show up. Market talk. Markets are going up. Markets are kind of going over the weekend. Markets went up. Now they're not. We'll see where it falls out. Talked some Bored Apes, Rider Rip stuff. We talked about FTX. Talked about some P2E stuff with Grand Theft Auto 6 on the sort of horizon, maybe the horizon of the horizon. Some NFTs, just random NFT stuff. Cool. It was good to be back up on stage with you Monday morning, just getting the week started. Appreciate all of your time, your love, your energy. If you don't mind, just hit the like button below if you have the time and you want to.
I hope Turnaround Tuesday is a gap up in the morning so we could talk about it instead of that afternoon turnaround. A lot of times it happens after 12 p.m.
Right.
But maybe we'll just get one of those raucous gaps up because the Japanese decided to go crazy while we were sleeping.
We will find out tomorrow when we are back on for the AM show. Appreciate you guys. Cambo, thank you. Appreciate you too, dude. On that note, we are going to wrap it up. Of course, it's always recorded. If you tuned in late, you want to catch the rest of it. Also, shout out to Chris Catchy, who normally watches the show, or at least pretty frequently does. He's interviewing Chris Saylor, probably as we speak right now. Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy, as we speak on Benzinga. So make sure to go watch that too. Always an interesting conversation. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Free market, get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.